Hello, I'm the host of Uniqueka. My name is Uniqueka Walcott, and today's episode is called Big Brand Energy. And so, with that, did I say big brand energy? Look, I can't even get my own thing right. I made this name up while I was washing my hands, and the name of the episode is Big Name Energy. Forgive me. This is the fun of trying to do things live and on the fly. I wanted to just come to you guys and talk a little bit about who I am because who has the nerve to name a show after themselves, right? But I mean, when you got a cool name like mine, why not use it? So, a little bit about myself. I am based in Orlando. I'm an East Coast nomad, the oldest child of I don't know what's the proper way to count like step siblings, so we're just gonna say an oldest child of quite a few children. um, so one of my favorite jobs in the whole wide world is actually not a job; it is being a big sister. I do enjoy storytelling and writing. So if you've been following me, you might see my LinkedIn banner, things that say that I'm a speaker, a moderator, and a writer. Um, but I just wanted to kind of kick back for a moment with you guys, talk about who I am, where I come from, what Uniqueka is all about. And I don't mean just the name of the show, but like me as a person. So I've been exploring a lot of tough topics lately, like grief and reciprocity and overcoming perfection. And one of the reasons that I'm here doing the show now and not like, ooh, let me fix the way I jacked up my own title, is really about overcoming my own sort of obsession with like perfection and making things just right. So even when I released episode one, the graphic had some errors and some issues. And I'm gonna tell you, I spent like 2 hours overthinking that thing before I said, look, your time is valuable. You are valuable. You got 15 minutes to put this thing together and just make some decisions with Canva. And that's what I did. And the reception was extraordinarily positive. I got some feedback about like, hey, I can't read a text. I was like, yep, I know, but I set a boundary with myself not to obsess over every single detail constantly. And so you're going to watch me evolve and grow this show in real time. So, eventually I'll have better hair, better makeup, maybe even better space and lighting. But I'm starting where I am and being faithful over the small things because this is a dream I've held on to for a long time. So much so that my husband has kind of been like, nudge. You need to go ahead and do a show that focuses and centers your ideas, your expertise, your insights. And so you're going to get a combination of episodes that are interviews with experts in different industries or, in my sphere of influence. And we might talk about something that's business oriented as the episode with Mr. SharePoint, where I had to admit that I was wrong about what I thought SharePoint is and what it does. But also sometimes as silly and as human as like, let's talk about like braiding hair and beauty and lipstick and networking and preparing for conferences and style. Like we'll talk about all of those things, but also maybe just some heart-centered and difficult stuff. But I'm really mindful that like this is a new relationship. I can't come in here knocking stuff over and crying, telling y'all way too much too fast. That's not how you make friends, right? So with that, I'm just leaning into today's episode. I'm going to give you the name as a visual so you haven't missed a beat on Big Name Energy. That's what it's called. This is my upgraded graphic right here for you one time. Comes and there. Now you've seen it. You've seen it done. I'm going to keep using it. I'll keep improving it, refining it. Maybe I'll like get a VA or a graphic artist at some point. But that is where we are in this journey. And I'm excited to share it with you guys. And so one of the key things I think we often think about when we talk about building a personal brand is about like, what do we want to call ourselves? How do we want to be addressed? How do we want to show up in the world? I had some really fun conversations over the last few months with different people in the space who've said, well, what do I call myself? How do I brand myself? In fact, one person, I won't name them, I didn't get their permission, but we kind of had like a side chat, like, just in like WhatsApp or whatever, because they're not local. And they were trying to figure out how to brand themselves, what they call themselves. And they had some few, themes they were working around. And I was like, oh, that sounds really good. I said, sometimes it might be helpful for other people to give you feedback on how you're showing up for them and how they see you, and see if that really aligns with how you feel and how you see yourself, and maybe leverage and elevate the language around that. So that was a pretty interesting conversation. If you go take a peek at my website, uniquewalcott.com, you'll get to see some of the references and recommendations around how I coach folks, or I'm going to say how I coach people, like some of the ways they have benefited from the personal branding masterclass, or just kind of being in my sphere, because I am just like the kind of person who's like, if I know something, you ask me a question, it's not going to take me 45 years. I'm probably just going to share it because it's just easy and it's something I'm passionate about. So take a look at uniquewalcott.com, learn a little bit more about me as a speaker, writer, and a moderator. Some of the things that have like really helped me sort of step into what I like to call big name energy have been some of the cool accolades and things I've earned over the last like year. Like imagine logging into like Google yourself, and don't pretend like you haven't. If you were a brand centric sort of person, or about personal growth and development, or just wanted to make sure, you know, some things don't surface on the internet that you don't want there, you probably Google yourself from time to time. So I did that recently, and this is what I saw. Could you imagine this, right? Like it was like public figure, and I was like, oh, how do you claim that? Is that a real thing? Am I being punked? And so I had to claim the profile. So if you like Google me now, you'll see some pictures and some details about me and my life, and it gets updated periodically. But that's a byproduct of over decades worth of work in brand building and sharing my ideas and my messages, writing articles for industry publications, and speaking for organizations on topics as broad as AI, personal branding, DEI. So sort of running that gamut of things that are important to me. Also ethics in AI. So that's kind of how these things evolved. And so I know somebody was like, well, how did you get that? And so I did a little homework, and I did not realize that once upon a time, you could have just paid for that or requested it, but that is no longer a possibility as of 2024. And I got this notice earlier this year in 2025. So that was pretty exciting and surprising to encounter. Alongside being featured and rolling out, where I break down my leadership philosophy. And some of that includes empathy, which doesn't rock with some of the folks in my network, but I'm here for it just because it's the thing that has helped me navigate some of my worst days, and to not cut a fool on folks who don't deserve it, but also be really clear that like once I have extended the opportunity for corrective actions, when I say you're done and time is up, I don't have no guilt about it. And that's just how I roll, because I think that it is important to have candid conversations with folks. Some people don't know better. Like I think about my own sort of growth professionally, and, coming from a family that didn't have a lot of corporate sort of experience, and trying to learn the lingo and the best practices and how to dress, and also how to like decode the idea that I had to show up a certain way in order to be accepted and respected, and really just lean into becoming myself. And so that's why an episode like Big Name Energy is such a big deal, because it is a reflection of the work that I've been putting in to be more of myself, regardless of where I show up, whether it's online or in person or in a boardroom, strategizing for, client presentations, leading, multi-million-dollar proposal pursuits. It does not have to mean that I have to be for people. In fact, what you learn is it's a difficult kind of exhausting to keep showing up that way. A special kind of exhausting to show up that way. To be like, okay, so this day I gotta, make sure my hair is straight and my brows are perfect and all this stuff that, at the end of the day, if it don't make you happy or add value to your life, stop stressing yourself out, right? So with that though, I want to get to like the background, the backstory. And I did a little bit of work. So I'm going to say work, but like I went to go visit my family. I had some PTO recently. And so I was like, wouldn't it be cool to hear the backstory about how my name became a thing from the person who gave me my name? And so indulge me for a few minutes, because my grandmother is going to tell you how she came up with my name and a little bit about where she's from. And also, guys, make sure you comment and wish her a happy birthday because she turns 77 tomorrow and she deserves all the love. So here's a little bit from Grandma.
That's
And
where I was born.
You're born in Detroit. Cool. Um, what is one of the best memories you have growing up as a little girl?
Playing around in my dad's grocery store,
Oh, cool. What was the name of the grocery store?
Adams Market,
Adams Market, and where was it?
1300 Superior.
1300 Superior in Detroit. Hey,
Yes,
see. um,
I'll never forget that.
what's one of your favorite foods right now?
Favorite food? Pizza and chili.
You like pizza and chili?
Hmm.
What do you like on your pizza?
Ham, pineapples,
Oh, pineapples. Okay,
bell peppers, and hamburger.
hamburgers.
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay. Tell me this, Grandma. What did you used to do professionally? Like, what was your job?
I was a nurse's aide for a long time.
Cool.
I went to school to be a computer programmer, and uh, I started off as a key punch operator. That actually started before computers.
Okay, you're a key punch operator.
Yeah.
I've seen one of those at the museum in Winter Park, Florida. I should go take a picture of one so people can know what I'm talking about and stuff.
I want to pause just a second. I want you to see, like, my grandmother is, pioneering in respect to, like, she's already had multiple careers. Like, so that whole idea of like multi hyphenate, multi careers is not a new thing. We've been doing it, friends, and it's okay. It's part of why having a powerful personal brand matters because it helps you pivot and explain your value easily. But I'm gonna let Grandma keep talking because she got some more cool stuff to share with y'all.
So it's really cool looking.
Yeah, they are.
It's huge too.
Yeah,
I was
very
like, this is
long
as tall as
machine.
me.
Uh-huh.
It's a big machine. So you got experience with computers and tools before computers. What do you think about AI?
Uh, it's a little too advanced for me.
A little too advanced for you?
Yeah.
Grandma is a little
Sweet.
too advanced.
Sweet. Let's see. You are a great grandma now. I made you a grandma.
Hmm.
How did you pick my name?
I don't know if someone just told me. The one always seemed like she was smarter than everybody, but I never would admit it to her. She was a lot between her and Carl. Carl was smart, but he was smart in a way where he would do things that were smarter. She would say things were smarter and actually go into doing it. He
Mm.
would do things that were smarter, but he was slower than as far as going into it. He would go to college and get things done. She would actually do the things
Okay.
faster. So when she got pregnant with you and said she would, when she told me I was going to name you, first thing I thought about was the way she does things, her baby is going to really be unique. And the first thing I thought about, can I really name a baby unique? And I made up my mind, her name going to be Uniqueka. Because her mama is so unique. I'm going to name her Unique. And that's how you got your name.
That's pretty cool.
Took me a while to make sure I would have named you that.
So you spent some time thinking about it.
Yep,
And because my mom always did all kind of cool stuff and work with her hands pretty quickly,
right.
made her mind up. She said, I'm going to do this, and it was just
And
done.
she done it.
Yeah, it was done before she could finish telling you about
Right,
it. She's super creative. Um,
right. I mean, if she make up her mind, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this, it was done. She was going to make it.
that's pretty cool. What is your favorite memories Or what is something you loved and enjoyed most about motherhood?
Sitting down at night watching TV with the kids. Or we all would look at movies and all of us end up on the made Nita made us a little pallet on the floor and had our popcorn and supposed to be looking at a movie, and I know anything, all of us waking up in the morning still on the floor. That to me.
And that's just a little bit of snippet of some of the quality time I got to spend with my grandma. She's probably gonna kick my ass for using the video instead of a picture. I'm sorry, grandma. I love you. Y'all, we cute though. Like I'm gonna show y'all the picture of all of us together. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Cause y'all gotta see me, my mom, and my grandma. Or at least maybe a cute picture like where she like really got dolled up because I absolutely caught her off guard and she just was nice enough to humor me. Cause that's what grandmas do when they love you. I'm probably her favorite, but never allowed to say that aloud to people. Just saying. Let me see if I can find a cute one. I got one. Just hang with me, sir, just for a second. So this is my grandma, 77 years young, and she picked my name. And so I take it real personal sometimes when people intentionally butcher my name, or at least I used to. I won't even say I still do. But I do make it a habit to go out of my way to persistently correct folks so they can stop messing it up. Because it's not that hard. It's unique in KA. But see, my grandma looking all cute. She was out one day with my mom getting something. I don't know what they were doing or what's in that sippy cup, y'all. But just make sure you take a moment to comment. Say happy birthday to my grandma. I'm gonna make sure I show her all the comments. She loves, loves, loves to be celebrated. So say hey to grandma. Okay. So now that we've talked about a little bit about where my name came from, and she did go through a lot of trouble. In fact, when she tells me this story, she tells me that she went to the Secretary of State where we lived or where she lived at the time when I was on the way to make sure no one else had my name. Like it's kind of a big deal, especially because my mother was told by doctors that she could not have children. And so it makes me laugh to think about how simple my younger siblings' names are. But I share that story just kind of, you know, to help you understand like what a big deal it was to get my super cool name, but also to like remind people who are still waiting to be mothers and become mothers that it's not always up to the doctor's friends. I'm here. My grandmother's 77. I will be celebrating 39 later this year. And I'm just excited to be here. But I wanted to share that with you guys. I think because I want to make sure the show also has substance, we could talk a little bit about some of the key content that I have been sharing all over LinkedIn because, ma'am, I have been having a blast. I've been talking about making the most of conferences. I'm talking about how to, elevate your style and show up so you can look cute like me when you step outside. But because it is conference season and I feel like, figuring out styles is relatively evergreen vibes, I want to talk about just a couple tips to make the most of conference appearances. And if this is like a whole lot to jot down, do not stress. I will make it a point to get into the show notes and share the article where I break down how you can move with some clarity and some confidence when you go to conferences. Because, isn't that the joy of it all? Connect with people you like to know. Give me a second, guys. I tried to prep for show and I still have not perfected all my show prep. Like I said, you guys are going to watch me create this stuff in real time. And that is exactly what is happening. So I'm going to get this article in my hands because it's also just easy talking points. Let's just not even be funny. So we're going to get into 3 ways to maximize your investment in conferences with these power moves. And so number 1, what you want to do is get clear on the return on investment before you buy tickets, buy flights, pay for that cute outfit, the trip to the hairdresser, all of that prep that goes in, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you are really, really clear on what the benefit is. Are you going to be able to meet with people who are going to advance your business goals, or you're going to find mentors or sponsors here, what is the benefit of you showing up? So getting clear on the ROI. Are you showing up to connect certain people in different areas of your work, to foster those growth opportunities? Is there somebody that needs to know someone and they're both going to be in the room and you can make a warm introduction, maybe even invite people to lunch? Because I tell people all the time, great relationships will take you places your money could not ever. I'm going to repeat it again. Great relationships. I'm not talking about the so-so things, the people you can like, look, if I don't see them again, it would be cool. I'm talking about the people that hug you off your feet when you get off the elevator. Great relationships. People who, when they hear words like speaker, moderator, or writer, say your name in a room full of opportunities, because who else is there? There's no one better than you. Like, that's what I'm talking about when I say great relationships will take you places that your money could not ever, because, honey, literally sometimes the only currency you have is your name. And so that's also why we call this episode Big Name Energy. I want you to know my name. I want you to know how to spell it. I want you to know where to find me. It's UNIQUEKA. So if you like Beyonce's song Unique, throw a KA on that thing and you know how to find me. I do a little too much jamming to that song quietly. We won't talk about it. But back on topic, we said, great relationships will take you places your money could never. And so understanding how that currency flows in the space like a conference is important. Is there an opportunity for you, again, to connect certain people in different areas of your work to foster more growth opportunities? Is there somebody that, is looking for a strategic partner and, a venture capitalist? Like, can you introduce those folks to each other? Is there benefit and shared vision and overlap in values? Like, those opportunities you can foster in terms of ROI, because not every piece of ROI is just about money. There might be an opportunity for you to mentor your mentee on work in the room like a BD wizard. BD means business development, so I have to make sure I step out of my industry lingo sometimes and explain. So if y'all go, what is she saying? Like, comment, I will clear it up, because sometimes I just say stuff because I'm so immersed in certain spaces. It's just normal language to me. But you want to make sure that you are mentoring your mentees and sponsoring them and making sure they develop the relationships that they can build upon the legacy you've created, so you can retire in peace, knowing that everything you built is not going to magically crumble because you decided that it's time to take your real rest and not your vacation rest. The other thing you want to do if you're trying to make the most of the ROI on the conference is find opportunities to speak and expand your influence, because that credibility changes the price of access to your brilliance. Period. Credibility means the price goes up. Credibility means the rooms get better. But don't let that be the focal point for why you show up. And that's part of why I've always created my personal brand around a personal brand impact statement that is really steeped in making sure that you live as low your dreams are possible, that you feel significant, not important, because I feel like importance is always a ranking sort of system. And even on your worst day, you're still worthy. And so that's why I say significance. And I want people to say my name in rooms where I can connect the dots and help people grow and flourish, not just financially, but also mentally and emotionally. Because one of the things you will often find when I do my public speaking is there's always an element of personal accountability and development in anything that I talk about, because we always start with the person. So part 2 out of 3, I know I gave you 3 sort of bullet points under step 1 and getting clear on that ROI. Number 2, don't assume you know everything. And I know that's easy if you've been 10, 20, 30 years in the business to think you've got it all figured out. And honestly, this goes back to that third point under managing the ROI. If you think the content in the room sucks and you keep showing up, it's your fault, because you need to get on stage. You need to speak. You need to put together and create panels of the experts that you admire in the space that could take the conversation to the level it ought to be at. Don't assume you know everything. And if you think everything around you sucks, then you need to speak up and educate folks. Don't shoot the messenger, but I said what I said. Number 3, I want you to remember when making the most of conferences and making power moves is to manage your energy, not just your time. I'm going to recap these. But managing your energy, not just your time, is something I had to share with one of my mentees recently, as they were headed to a conference. And they were like, I think I need to be at this session and this session and this session. And I was like, well, do you have to though? Like, get really clear on what you need to learn, what things you don't know a lot about already or have absolutely no understanding of, because I found that those are the best sessions to attend at conferences. Perfect example, last year I took a opportunity to sit in a session at a conference for Black women in data that was all about our language for programming. And I was like, I have never seen this in my life. I have no idea. But the way that it inspired how I problem solve was so good. And so that's what I remind people, like, you don't have to go to every single session. Sometimes it's about showing up and, being a support to the people in your network and making sure that they feel heard and seen. And you're like, the cheering section in the front row, because if you're a real friend, you sit in the front row. Or, making sure that, you don't show up tired, because I can't think of a thing that's worse than like going to like maybe happy hour after a long day of sessions, pouring my spirit out to somebody about whatever it is that's on my mind, and making eye contact and realizing their eyes are so deeply glazed over, there's no reason for me to keep talking. And that's your cue to go to bed. Go take a rest, take a nap, whatever it is you need to do, recharge. This is why I say manage your energy, not just your time. Another way you can manage your energy and time is to put your phone on do not disturb, so that you are not distracted and doom scrolling and doing all these things in between that like really get your mind sort of flooded and overwhelmed. And I say this and some people get nervous. They go, well, what if my kids can't reach me? If you set up do not disturb, and if you set up settings in the back end of your phone, you can make sure that the key folks that need to reach you can reach you all the time. They can be set to bypass, or they can be set up so they understand if they call you more than once in a 5 or 10 minute span, the call's going to immediately go through. So those are some of the ways you can manage your energy, not just your time. It's also acceptable to exit conversations that are not exciting or elevating. If John's still talking trash about something from 5 years ago, give him a chance, politely, gently redirect the conversation. But if you can't get it together, maybe you find the elevator, because he ain't on it. And that's my bit of advice for like managing your time, not just your managing your energy, not just your time. And so one of the ways you might do that is if you look at the calendar for the conference and bucket up the opportunities you're interested in attending or being a part of, and categorize them. Must attend, nice to attend, and if I don't need rest instead, I'll slide in. And so if you decide, okay, I really need rest instead of going to this thing that looked kind of interesting, take your rest and realize that rest is not just about going to your hotel room to take a nap. Sometimes rest is, I'm going to go have a coffee and reflect on what I just learned in the last session, or have a conversation with somebody who also attended, and like connect over those sort of insights. Like, there is opportunity here that does not have to be overwhelming. So that's my little bit of advice. I'm not gonna say a little bit of advice, because this is really useful advice, and I'm gonna stop downplaying myself. This is big name energy, big brand energy is the episode, so we're gonna do it big. And so 3 things to make sure you're making the most out of your conference. These 3 power moves. You're gonna get clear on the return on investment. That's number 1. Number 2, don't assume you know everything. And if you know everything and you're the smartest joker in the room, get your behind on stage. Number 3, manage your energy, not just your time. Those are my best pieces of advice for you on how to make the most of conferences this conference season. If you are in a headspace where you're like, I don't know how to get on stage and what to say or how to write an abstract, honey, make sure you keep your eyes on this site, because I've got something releasing for you guys soon. I can't wait to share it with you. It's going to help make your life easier, and it does not require my time and attention immediately, or really at all. I won't even say immediately, because once you got access, you do your thing. I will hook you up with some ways to use the tool properly, but it's coming. I'm not going to tell you guys the name of it though, so you got to stay tuned. Going through some channels to make sure that I've got all the proper clearances before I share it, so that you can reap the rewards of my vacation curiosity. But yeah, that's my bit of advice for you. So if you were, looking to build thought leadership or credibility, conferences is a great opportunity to network, to get on stages. And if you don't feel like doing it solo, create a panel conversation with some peers. preferably peers that don't agree with you or see it the same way so that you can have a meaningful, fruitful conversation. I love moderating these kinds of conversations. So I've made a whole career out of taking really complex, almost just crazy, hairy, messy ideas and information and simplifying it in a way that has helped me to secure over $1 billion in government contracts through work at various firms. And so that's where I coined the term $1 billion bid writer, because that's a process I use. It's how we build that credibility, how we express ourselves in a way that makes people go, yeah, you're the one. So if you've not followed me on Instagram yet, this is also where you can reach me, $1 billion bid writer. Looking to get on my email list, scroll on down, uniquewalcott.com. It'll get you in there. You'll have a great time learning about me, about my values, and how we might work together. But before I wrap my show, I just got one more very, very final request. Say happy birthday to my grandma. So she's 77 tomorrow, and I think she will be thrilled to see a list of people wishing her a happy birthday. If you want to, send her emojis and gifts and stuff, I will make sure she sees it. My name is Uniqueka. I hope that today's episode was inspiring to you. I hope that you lean into your big name energy in this era of your life, just like Mr. SharePoint on my last episode, who said, look, I know that Mr. SharePoint sounds corny, but it's working for me. There's something that you got that, when described properly, lets people know who you are and what you do quickly. Don't be ashamed to lean into that. For me, I decided my name is enough because it is the anchor to an ecosystem of ideas that I intend to express and explore in this lifetime. Because at my core, I'm a writer. I'm a creative person. And so this is me creating on the fly in the middle of my becoming season. And I hope that you got some joy out of today's episode, that you got some insights, and that you feel better equipped to attend conferences and introduce yourself with some pride and some respect on your name. I'm Uniqueka, the founder of Uniqueka Walcott Communications, where we elevate executive voices. I'm the host and producer of this show, Uniqueka, and I forgot what I was going to say. So that's my random pause. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm kind of just winging it, and it's getting awkward. And I have to just admit that out loud, because this is me doing something that scares me as much as it might seem like it comes naturally. I am usually much more calculated in how I plan. And now I'm singing. Deep breath. Wish my grandma happy birthday. Remember, if you go to conferences, get clear on your ROI before you book the plane ticket. Hook your mentees up. Hook your network up. Make sure people get to know each other. Don't assume you know everything. If your attitude sucks, the experience is going to suck. If you do know everything, then you need to get on stage and share everything you know with the people who don't, so we can all stop being bored and unintelligent. Number 3, manage your energy, not your time. And a personal branding tip today is to just do it scared. Do it imperfect. Do it authentically. Being who you actually are. Don't put on some fake thing and pretend like you're something you're not yet. And that's why you guys got this version of the show. Love y'all. Mwah. Until next time.